Oh yeah, I would have been like Stifler, Oz, Jim. Everybody would remember those. And then I don't think I would remember the last guy. I would remember Shitbreak. That's the only thing I would remember.
Finch.
But everybody remembers that. We said in a 20-year anniversary interview, they had all the cast members on Entertainment Tonight, and the guy who played Stifler, he said that one of the things that was nice for him was that he's not actually that person in real life. So it was a chance for him. This is his breakout role. This is actually his first big thing. And he took a big, gigantic pay cut
like $8,000
to be in this movie. He took $8,000 to be in this movie because he just wanted to be in the movie. And in real life, Seann William Scott is actually a really nice guy. And he's really kind of relaxed, more reserved. And doing this movie allowed him to really break out of that character, and he loved doing that. And they said, the director said that he went full into it, and the character was kind of written as being like obnoxious, but also at the same time a little bit more endearing. And they said that Seann William Scott just kind of threw that out the window, went full into it.
Oh, I love it. I mean, just the looks. She's, I don't want to be that girl. And he's like, you won't. And he laughs to the side.
Yeah.
And then the pale ale. And just, I love that scene where Oz leaves and he goes, I don't think he's coming back, coach. He's
yeah. I mean, he has that dumb smile the whole time. He's just like,
And I kind of love, too, how all these guys are just full of, Kevin is just the biggest turd. But then there's Stifler, who,
he's a bigger turd.
Yeah, but he's more secure with himself. I guess it comes from his mom being super rich. I mean, he has wonderful homes. And then you have the scene with his brother where they're bonding. It's a weird... The guy is not played to be a good character or a nice character or someone you want to hang out with, but he plays him so well that he's just he's a jerk you like. I guess he belongs with Chet. He belongs with Biff. Just these jerks that are just part of your life. And I don't know.
He's not a person. He's not a villain. He's just a jerk. Stifler. Like he's just part of a group of people who are, they're privileged and they've been taken care of. So it'll give him this feeling that he can do whatever he wants. He's the one who's throwing the parties. He's got the good looking women that want to be with him because of these parties. It's not because of him. And he kind of knows that, you know what I mean? That he's aware of who he is almost.
You looked into this character, Chris Kelly.
I did. I'm a big fan. But I'd be a little bit, the movie did make a lot of money, but I'd also be curious as to see how many people bought tickets to something else to go into American Pie, because a 14-year-old Chris did that.
You probably snuck past me in the theaters, you little brat. I had so many kids.
I remember in 9th grade, me and my buddy Joe, we bought tickets to another movie
Tarzan
at the time. It would have been a PG-13 movie, and then we walked into American Pie. I remember that because I remember the guy who was the ticket taker was like, I don't think these guys are going to be going to go see this movie. They're going to go in to see American Pie. And he actually came into the theater. Thankfully, the theater was packed, so he couldn't really see us.
Thug.
Yeah, it was jam-packed. I remember it was packed for a very long time.
People love this movie, and they wanted to sneak in. They wanted to go see it. It grew a buzz. The soundtrack alone was just loaded with... I mean, listen, there's some bangers on this one, man. You had, Whole Celebrity Skin. That movie comes in perfectly. I even like Flagpole Sitta, like Mrs. Robinson, which makes me laugh so hard. Bare Naked Lady songs. That Mutt song is perfect for the scene. I mean, it's all about just two people wanting to get laid. I mean, just like 1 week, Semi-Charmed Life they packed in there. This movie was loaded, so it had the cool... I think you're right, though. It had... You recognize Thomas Ian Nicholas from Rookie of the Year, Nick in King Arthur's Court. You recognize a few of the other people. Mena became bigger with American Beauty that came out. But I like it when these movies introduce fresh faces to watch. Like, when I watched this movie, I had no clue. I think Seann William Scott, if he had 5-6 movies under his belt and he played Stifler, people would look at him as Seann William Scott playing a role. But since it's his first role as Stifler, everyone still just calls him Stifler. It's just,
he's been... It took him a while to shake that image, too, and people still saw him as Stifler well into Role Models, The Rundown. I think he's doing Lethal Weapon right now, so he's been taken a little bit more seriously now as an actor. It's been almost 20 years, but sometimes these things happen.
He was great in Goon, by the way. If y'all haven't watched Goon, that's a really excellent portrayal by him in there. He's a lot of fun.
I still haven't seen that.
He's a super sweet, like, earnest dude who destroys people's faces.
You have been telling me to watch that movie, I think, since 2015.
You're gonna hate it now because you're gonna be, Mark's been telling me to watch this. I hate it, but my expectations were too high. But no, I like the fresh, but there's also little moments in here that I like where Jim is talking to a guy about his SATs or 720, and he just starts saying like what words does he say? Oh man, he just starts bringing up big words, and the guy next to him's like, hey, that's not bad. There's these tiny little moments in here like, that just, I mean, it has the obligatory bathroom pooping moment, but I think they handled it much more. That scene's handled much more classily than Detroit Rock City.
Yes, just a hair.
And I think he earned that from Stifler because he was lying about So when Stifler got revenge on him, that's probably the least jerky thing he does.
That's a lower on the totem pole, I would say. He didn't like ruin him for a long period of time. He just kind of made him take a massive dump, and then the girl that was interested in going with him to the prom because of his supposedly massive member no longer wants to go to the prom with him. So I say he probably came out on top on that one.
Jeez Louise.
I don't know if you caught that, but whenever he comes out of the bathroom, that girl that was there whenever he was putting, and then he says, okay, I got to go to the bathroom. And he says, but guys, let me just tell you before I go, whatever rumor you hear about me is absolutely true, and I want you to spread rumors about me. And they're like, wait, what? And then that girl walks up to him. That girl is then outside of the bathroom whenever he comes walking out.
Looking depressed.
She's like, no.
And I don't know what you've read. I know you read a lot about this movie, but Natasha Lyonne, a lot of articles love her character. She's this weird spirit guide for Kev. She's this guide for Vicky. She talks to Finch. She's a very nice, I don't know, she's an interesting character in this movie. She's kind of like a Greek chorus that helps everybody out. She's much more wise than everybody.
And to add to that, she wasn't really supposed to be that big of a character. She was only supposed to be in a couple of different scenes, and then that was about it. But the director said in the commentary that he loved the way that she acted and the way she looked, that he decided to keep her in more. And also at the end where she takes the money that's Finch. I want to call him by his nickname, but I know I want to stop calling him that.
Crap break.
Crap break.
Crap stop.
She takes the money that he gives her and buys him a flask. So it's like she does that, and it's also like it's showing that she's a nice, sweet woman as well. She has a nice heart.
There's a line in there. I remember when it was 99, I was 17, and she's like, yeah, a guy duped me by telling me that he loved me. And I'm like, whoa, that's pretty deep for a high schooler throwing out advice for these kids. Yeah. Now, I got to ask you something. So all right, do me a favor. Rank Jim, Finch, Kevin, and Oz in terms of likability. How would you rank these four?
Jim's definitely number one. He's just a nice, sweet guy, and I think he means well. So I think he's probably the most likable out of all of them. Oz is number two as well because he's a genuine person, and I think that he was just trying to be like Stifler because it works for Stifler, so why won't it work for me? The way he acted in the beginning there. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, he does have good intentions, and I do see his point. Like that moment at the end of the movie where he wants to play lacrosse, but he also wants to sing in the choir, and it's like he's torn between two worlds there. And I honestly I see where he was coming at, where he says, well, I got to play this game because it's the biggest game of the year, and they almost kicked our ass last year, and without me they could lose. But also at the same time, this choir has also been relying on him as well. And he bows out at the last second. What's that going to happen to the choir? So now he's not just doing that to look good for Heather. He's also doing that because he really should do that. And I like that. It really shows that he's got a genuine good heart. And he shows that he goes to the game at first, but then he realizes I made a massive mistake because I actually genuinely like Heather. So maybe I should just go over to do this because it's for her. And he's showing sacrifice for her. And that's that's the true thing about showing love, is that sacrificing what you genuinely want to do with yourself to do something else for someone else. If that makes sense. There's a lot of something else's that I just said.
Yeah, you got lost on there, Chris.
But no, that came out of a book that I read about what was it, like 12th century lore. It's like that's true love, is to counteract what you want to actually do something. But yeah, anyways, to go on to it, he's number two. I would say that then Finch would be no, you know what? Not Finch. I'm going to say Kevin will be number 3. Kevin's number 3 because he has a mission that he wants to do. Although it is ridiculous and it seems silly, it's still a goal that he set for himself. He wants to complete this mission, and he wants to work it out with his girlfriend. He really thinks that it may actually work, even though they are going to be splitting up and going to separate colleges. But they both understand that after finally having sex with one another, that it wasn't the end of the world, and it wasn't going to destroy their relationship or unite them even more. It was just it was something that they needed to do so that they knew that they loved each other. And they both very adultly said that it wasn't going to work if they went to different colleges, so they had to split up. And I think that that's really shows a good, strong characteristic at a young age, which is a good thing to have. Then I would say is Finch. Finch really doesn't have anything. His mission is just to try to appear as being, I guess you would say, on Stifler's level is the best way to put it. He really doesn't have any goals other than to be on Stifler's level. And it's like, why would you want to be on Stifler's level? Because Stifler, where he's going at, and lastly, I would say Stifler is the most likable out of all of them because he doesn't have any direction. He has nowhere that he is going. His only thing in life is to drink, sleep with women, and then that's it. And it's like, okay, well, where's that going to be in like 10 years? So
wow,
that's what I have. How about yourself, Mark?
Oz, he's just a good dude. He's just the nice guy of the bunch. He says that stuff in the beginning, but I don't think he means any of it. I mean, these are high schoolers too. We're adults talking about kids who are written by a 27-year-old. So you can't. I mean, we never had any of these. These conversations that these kids are having in high school just are mind-boggling. So you have Oz, and then I'll give it to Finch because whatever. He's just Finch. He likes whiskey. And then I'll give it to Jim because that stuff he pulls on Nadia, man. That's some. I know you're in high school. And the webcams are relatively new, but come on, man. I liked his relationship. Yeah. I like his relationship with his dad a lot. I mean, the magazines, and then looking at the pictures, and then we'll just say we ate it all, the apple pie. And at the end when they do the nice pats, and at the end it's just Kevin, man. Like Kevin, I don't know. In the beginning he has this girlfriend that really likes him. He's like, man, enough of this stuff. I need to get laid. And then he's just kind of bullying people throughout, and then being all mopey.
All right, so. In honor of this movie, American Pie, with its plethora of gross out gags, let's do something really quick. Let's do a quick draft where we each pick 3 gross out moments from movies. And I don't know, maybe I'll put it up on Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook, and people can vote on who put together the better gross out moments in a movie. What do you think?
Oof, this sounds pretty intense. But you know what? I'm always up for a challenge. So I'm game if you are.
All right, can I have first pick?
It sounds like I should give you first pick.
All right, so that's more Chris Kelly. Give me the first pick. So better do it, Chris. So this one is, I don't think anybody would pick this, but there's a moment in the movie Hall Pass directed by the Farrelly brothers with Owen Wilson and Jason Sudeikis. It's a horrible film. I do not like it. It's about just lame dudes who have great wives, and they just complain about it the whole time, and they want hall passes, and it's bad. But there's a scene where Jason Sudeikis is with this lady who keeps sneezing. And she sits down on this tub, the shower, and she sneezes, but she also has projectile diarrhea at the same time. And it just sprays on the wall. And I remember hating the movie so much. And the reason this moment sticks out to me is because I was so bored. And I was just disliking everything. And then that moment happened. And I went, whoa, that's pretty gutsy to feature in a movie. Have you seen that scene?
Yeah, she's sitting there crying in the bathtub, and she's like, achoo! And then she shotguns, I guess is the best way to put it, all over the tub, and it's like, oh, I was not expecting that to happen at all.
I mean, because you hadn't seen too much like that, and so I just watched it again today, and I started laughing. There's something so gross and unexpected about it that I love it. It's the only scene from the movie that I would actually recommend. I wouldn't even recommend it because it's terrible. But that's my first one.
All right. I would say my first pick is going to be from the 1980s classic body melt genre of films. There was a genre of films that came out called the body melts, where literally the movies were about bodies melt. And I am talking about Street Trash, which is a movie about a evil I guess it's an evil liquor company that's putting out poison booze to kill off the homeless